Welcome in. We've got Friday night football for you here in Vancouver. The Delta Dome is the home of the Vancouver Legion, playing host to the Houston Hyenas. Welcome in, everyone. These two teams are both 4-5. In the broadcast booth tonight, my name is Stephen Hacker, alongside Alden Bleeker. Live stats for us tonight is provided by DJ Woods and Mel Davis. Back at SFL HQ, Commissioner and producer Cameron Irvine. And we've got a great games lined up here for us, Alden. And I know you had some pregame notes. Why don't we go ahead and dive right into that?
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking off mic that this game is really a tiebreaker in a lot of ways. Both of these teams have 4 wins in this series historically. Perhaps interestingly enough, it has come all 4 times for the home team. And it's been a very close matchup historically as well, with the exception of one blowout back in season 15. That was a 76-13 win for the Vancouver Legion. It has been settled by less than 14 points. So we've got 2 very good offenses, one offense that's very good at getting in the red zone, and one defense that's good at stopping in the red zone. So we've got 2 very dynamic teams going to have to stop the other strength.
And it's going to be a very interesting matchup, as you said, Alden. And it feels like where these teams stack up and where they line up on paper, the other team is a counter, it's playing into their strength. And so that's going to be very critical, the coaching matchup, who plays the right chess piece in this one. Vancouver Legion set to return this to start this ball game. Vancouver with the white helmets, blue tops, white bottoms. Houston in the black helmets, white tops, and gold bottoms with a little bit of red trim around the uniforms. Legion are going to start from their own 20 in this ball game. Under center, that's number 4, Christian Brown. Surveys the field. It's going to be a toss play out to the right side. That's running back Logan Lee. Going to get a 1-yard carry there. While we're talking about the offense, why don't we go ahead and dive right in, Alden? Number 4, Christian Brown. Number 7, quarterback Austin Blanco. Running backs are Logan Lee, number 21, and Robert Redford, number 28. Fullback is Sawyer Stern. Get to the remainder of the offense after the snap as wide receiver Chris Curtis goes in motion there, number 84. Houston stacking the line of scrimmage a little bit. And it is Brown back to throw. Quick drop. Pass is complete to the wide receiver who turns upfield, has a nice gain. That's tight end Stephen McMichaels with his first reception of the ball game and the first down for the Legion. Wide receivers for the home team is Chris Sinceri, Brett Killian, Timothy Mossam King, Zorro Lunar, Chris Curtis. And on the offensive line for the Legion is Mike Coverson, Perrin Mara, Michael Percoco, and Mike Newtones. With a fresh first down now, Brown going to go back under center, single back in the backfield, 4 wide receivers. Brings a nickel look from the Hyenas and a blitz, and Lee is going to get met at the line of scrimmage. They're actually going to say he lost the yards.
Yeah, man, and that is a really big stop for Houston there. I mean, Vancouver is a team that can really kind of pounce on mismatches, whether it's in the play call, whether it's in the formation, and so you really got to stop them in the backfield.
2nd and 11. Brown, another handoff to Lee. Lee, again, met at the line of scrimmage, no gain. And there for the defense, that looked like Kai Cash on the edge, number 27. And let's get to the rest of the headhunters while we're there. Number 55 on the defensive line is Alex Perez. On the other side is Tom Tanner. Inside, the defensive tackles are Denzel Maverick and KT Slayer. The linebacking core is Jason Peace, Garrett Evans, and Zed Markoff. Brown back to throw, moves to his right, time to throw, unleashes, and complete. Looks like a little bit too much contact as we have a penalty flag down, and it is a PI on the Headhunters. That's going to move the ball forward for the Legion and give them a first down. Ball's going to be spotted at the 46-yard line, Alden.
Yeah, man, and you can't fault the effort on the coverage, but yeah, just too much holding back there, and really nowhere at all left for, I believe that was Chris Curtis to run. And man, you really cannot do that on a 3rd and long situation.
in the defensive backfield for the Headhunters. Mike Bird, Kai Cash, Dedrick Law. The safeties are Brady Clark, Vernon Brothers, Al Ingram III, and Josh Rote. Brown with the first down. Quickly gets the ball out of his hands over to Brett Killian, who's going to pick up 6 yards. Brought down, looked like Brady Clark was in coverage.
Well, and like I said, this is a very dynamic offense. Christian Brown is top 4 in the league for most completions, coming in at 175%, and also 4th best completion percentage. So when his receivers are doing their things, running routes, getting open, he can really sort of cook down to under center.
Lee going to get a handoff, makes a move, and explodes through, able to get a couple extra yards past the first down marker, moves the chains for the Legion.
Yeah, and it's really been a well-crafted offensive drive for the Legion. I mean, the run's really not going anywhere at first, but Vancouver continuing to stick to their game plan and getting closer and closer to the red zone now.
I formation, look, 3 wide receivers on the field. Brings out a nickel defense from Houston. Brown, quick drop, and throw over the right side. It's intercepted. Brought in by Dedrick Law, the cornerback, and Houston flips the field for their offense, and that's a huge opportunity taken away by the Houston defense.
Well, as good as Vancouver have been at getting the ball down the field and converting, this has really been Christian Brown's Achilles heel, so to speak. 13 interceptions going into this game. That is 27th in the league, and so now Houston getting a very important stop here.
Yeah, -5 turnover differential on the season. So Vancouver giving the ball away more than they're taking it away. Houston going to start out at about their own 20-yard line. They're going to start the game with Josh Slapp getting a carry for 3 yards.
And it's going to be really tough up the middle. You've got Achilles Papatonis on the defensive line for Vancouver, leading the league in sacks and leading the Vancouver defensive line in tackles for loss. Calibran Womack also on that line, making things very difficult to find space up the middle.
Under center for Houston is quarterback Dave Burr. This time hands off, and it's going to be, first carry of the game was GP Wells. That carry was to Josh Slapp. 21 and 22 are the running backs for the Headhunters. They have fullback number 28, Jalen Wells. Wide receivers are Mike St. Green, Goldie Morrison, DR Sim, and Greg Corky. Tight ends are Dan Curtis and Tiberius Bovine. On the offensive line, they've got Gerbil Culpepper and Mari Simeon. Burr is going to toss it out to Slapp, who's got room to run. A great block out to the right sideline and brought down near the sideline. And a great run there for Houston.
Well, we'll have to wait on the official numbers here. You know, you mentioned Josh Slapp coming into this game was only about 30 yards off of 1,000. A very strong rookie season it's been for Josh Slapp.
Yeah, Houston really liked what they saw in this rookie performing in the SFLM and in the some of the extracurriculars in the offseason, and they took a chance on him, and he's really paid off big for him. Wells is going to get a carry this time. He breaks left side, out past the 50, past the 40, and down to the 30. Oh, he stayed in bounds to the 20, the 15, the 10. Can he get in? GP Wells touchdown! What a huge run for the Headhunters.
And we talked about how this is a tiebreaker for both of these teams. Both these teams need to find a way to break free and get a strong finish to the season. And how about GP Wells stepping up, takes the contact very early in this play. Running backs of a lesser caliber would have given up immediately, but he stays up, he keeps his legs moving, and somehow, some way, Houston get a lightning strike touchdown to finish, I should say, their first offensive drive of the game.
Very, very impressive. I mean, Vancouver looked like their offense was comfortable, but the defense for the Headhunters gets them out of a tough spot, and then the offense takes over and makes quick work of the Vancouver defense and takes control of this ball game on the road. And I think Vancouver's a little shocked right now. I think they've got the offense on their heels, and you know it's a great thing when you've got a 1-2 punch. You know, GP Wells, definitely a veteran back in the league, earned his stripes, and then when you have an explosive playmaker, Josh Slapp, to go along with that. It makes you have a dangerous offense.
Yeah, and of course, you know, two Hall of Famers actively playing on Houston. It really helps to have that veteran leadership effect.
If you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server at simulationfl.net. Click Join the Community button and begin your career, or just to meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field. It's never too late to get involved. The Legion now going to start out from their own 26-yard line. About 5.5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Brown's going to go under center, 3 wide receivers top side of the screen. Brett Killian's going to come in motion now bottom side, lining up inside in the slot. Blitz coming from the Headhunters, picked up nicely by the Legion, and a first down throw as he finds Chris Curtis there on the right sideline.
Wow, and speaking of some of the great receivers in the history of the SFL, again, a great pass by Christian Brown. And when he can find this rhythm, when he can find his receivers open, he really is one of the more reliable hands under center in this league.
And so Brown now going to hand off this one. This time is going to go to the fullback. And that's Sawyer Stern getting a 5-yard carry there on first down. Let's introduce this Houston defense, shall we? We had, I already covered everyone. So we've got Dietrich Law, Brady Clark, yep, Al Ingram III, and then we had kicker Sonny J. That's who I wanted to get. I missed Sonny J earlier. Kicker for Vancouver is Chance to Win. I know I missed that one earlier as well. In motion for Vancouver there is Sawyer Stern. I formation, looks like Vancouver's going to go with a run here. Toss play goes right side. Logan Lee, room to run, lowers his shoulder, breaks the tackle, but pushed out of bounds ultimately just past midfield.
And this is a play that is set up, I believe you could say, fairly almost entirely by these blocks, just completely flattening the defensive line of Houston, opening up that space. And what would normally have been maybe a few yards if you're lucky, it gets all the way past the first down marker.
Vancouver coming into this game is third in total offense in the SFL, averaging just over 416 yards a game. Toss play left side, and that one's going to go for 3 yards as Logan Lee is brought down.
And Vancouver are really liking these toss plays to either side of the defense. It really seems to be kind of their bread and butter on the run game, and we'll have to watch that. But it really has been solid so far. Pitch outside and really get those blocks hard set up.
Another handoff, and this time Mets at the line of scrimmage, well covered by the Headhunters defense. As that's Garrett Evans stepping up to make the play.
Yeah, and that's really important to be able to do as a defense with this new era where, running backs are so fast and so strong. Really, your best hope is to blow the play up completely in the backfield.
Dime defense. That was a safety lined up there, middle linebacker, but it didn't matter as Chris Curtis is exploiting that outer third of the field for the Legion, and they're just moving down the field with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about how really Vancouver just loves these tactical mismatches, exploiting miscoverage, exploiting advantages in formations. And again, Chris Curtis does a great job of reading the space, and Christian Brown does a great job putting the ball in his receiver's hands.
And it was going to come down to the coaching matchup. Again, these teams, on paper, they matched up well. Their strengths match up well with the other team's strengths. So it's going to come down to these coaching subs and these big plays like that for Logan Lee, breaking it out to the right side down to the 13-yard line before he's brought down. And that's what it's going to take. Vancouver needs to find ways. They're the most efficient team inside the red zone, and they're finding a way to get down there. They're inching closer and closer.
Yeah, that's right. Not only are they the most efficient team in the red zone in terms of scoring, they also have the most trips to the red zone this season out of any team.
Brown's going to go under center, twins to his left, handoff, and brought down at the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play made by Brady Clark, coming up and making the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Also sixth most in red zone TDs instead of 24. So, it's one thing to get into the red zone to pick up those yards that you need, but it's a whole other ball game to consistently come away with points on the board.
Yeah, 6 points is definitely a lot better than the three, and Vancouver Legion are doing it at a high rate. Lee gets a toss play right side, stiff arm thrown down to the 5, into the end zone, touchdown for the Legion, and the Vancouver team responds, and the crowd love it.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of new school, a little bit of old school coming together to create a whole new flavor there. Of course, the very old school trench warfare is really sticking into blocks across the side. But again, Logan Lee using that new school speed, the agility, puts on a stiff arm here. I mean, borderline puts his man on the Heisman Trophy, and again, just explodes past the pylons. That is a fantastically executed run and a much improved end to that drive to Vancouver compared to where they were previously.
Yeah, and then, even on the first drive, they moved down the field. It's just an errant throw into double coverage, and and a great play made by Diedrich Law. But that time, they kept the ball on the ground, and Logan Lee finishes it off. And there's chance to win, getting the extra point up and in, tying the ball game. 9 play, 74-yard drive on that one, Alden. And it was a good one. Vancouver needed to respond and get the crowd kind of back in the game and show that they were awake and in this game. And that's plan well executed. Great job by the Legion. And for all the league highlights, photo galleries, major and minor league stats and leaderboards, community content, and so much more, make sure to check out the league's website at simulationfl.net, presented by Football Shift. Stay up to date and explore our past, present, and future. That return brought out to the Houston 26-yard line. That's where the Headhunters are going to take over now. 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Chat is very much alive in our YouTube chat. Good to see everyone here on this Friday night. Hope everyone's having a good one. It's been a good game so far. Josh Slapp going to start this drive off, and he's going to get 2 yards.
Yeah, this has really been something that we're kind of seeing running offenses incorporate more and more when you just need to pick up a few yards, kind of run it into the offensive line there and have them kind of push through the trenches. Bit of an odd choice to see that start the drive, but it is certainly a thing we're seeing more and more offenses employ.
3 wide receivers. Burr trying to throw this one into a tight window. DR Sim double covered. Let's get to the Legion defense. On the defensive line, Achilles Papatonis, Kyron Womack, Gerald Giudice, and Michael Rury. Linebackers are Josh Farnsey, DJ Wood, also in the stats truck with us tonight, Keith Reed, and the defensive backfield is Emmanuel Blackman, Michael Lister, Zach Lay, Will Stern, Mark Lopez, Drew Hamilton, and JJ Winfield. Burr with a deep drop, but checks down, finds Slapp out of the backfield. Slapp makes a move and sheds a tackler and brought down just short of the first down. Going to call it 4th and 2, so can't quite get the offense going on this drive, Alden.
Yeah, and you really got to chalk it up to just how really well covered the downfield was there by Vancouver. You saw standing in the pocket there and just really not finding anything open, taking the check down, trying to get something to happen, and does pick up a few yards, just not quite able to get past the first down marker there.
And Brett Killian, the return man, able to break a tackle and gives the Vancouver Legion good starting field position. They're going to get it at their own 35. A dangerous weapon, an all-time great in this league, second in all-time yards, and willing to line up there in the backfield. That's as a returner. That you love to see that whenever a team captain's willing to put his body on the line on those punt returns like that. And then not only that, but gives your team a good return on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really kind of that leadership quality that we talk about. 2 Hall of Famers, to Vancouver's credit, also on the offense.
Brown's going to motion Killian into the slot. Now Twins to his left. Brown back to throw. Pressure coming. Gets the ball out, and that's Redford going to be the receiving target. And he's got a first down. Tackler there before he gets pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard of a stiff arm. This is a stiff shoulder that we're about to see here on this replay. Just a nice little open pass on the sideline. And again, that just puts a little stiff arm, but he puts his shoulder through it.
Oh yeah, he wasn't going to take any chances being brought down. He was going to finish that move, and credit to the veteran running back. I mean, he's one of the greats for a reason as well. A lot of motion here from Vancouver in this ball game. This time sending Curtis across the field, now looking like a traditional I formation. Look like Houston's in a base 4-3. Lee gets picked off, and he chunks a defender. Now he's down the sideline, and he gets pushed out of bounds near the 40-yard line.
Well, Chris Curtis, typically used as more of a traditional, or I should say more modern receiver, but again, throws a huge block up front there. And man, Logan Lee absolutely puts his man's helmet in the turf there.
And you really love to see this. I mean, both these teams not out of the playoff picture by any stretch of the imagination. Both have a very difficult road to get there, but you love to see the fight that these teams are bringing in this matchup because they're going to need it the rest of the way if they want to have a shot at making the playoffs. Brown going to motion BK12 across the field. And it looks like we're going to reach the end of the first quarter here, Alden, with the score going to be tied, and it's been a very nice first quarter. Both teams kind of filling each other out, had some production, but missed out a little bit offensively as well. So I think both teams figuring each other out here, Alden.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a game that, as we mentioned, or a series, I should say, historically, that has been very close. Really, only one game that was settled in this series history by less than 14 points. I mean, and the fact that it's 4-4, I mean, I don't think a series could possibly get more even.
From the 39-yard line, Logan Lee's going to take the toss, and he's going to truck another defender. Great block on the outside. He's got room to run. Down to the 15, throws an arm, gets shoved out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Brady Clark was the one to corral him out of bounds.
And this has been really the order of the day, the soup, the salad, whatever the special happens to be, because it's really been working perfectly for Vancouver. Toss to the outside, really get stuck in with the blocks, and man, Logan Lee has just been a bulldozer tearing through this Houston defensive line this drive.
Approaching the century mark with plenty of time remaining here in the first half. I formation Twins look. They're going to toss to the weak side. This is Robert Redford getting a carry. He lowers his shoulder, but he's only going to get 3 on that one.
I mean, you see the other primary running back in the offense do it. I mean, you might as well try to put on some moves of your own.
Now 2nd and 7, we've got Austin Blanco in the game here, number 7, going under center. I formation, going to be a counter play. Lee going to break a tackle, but get brought down after a short gain. Met in the hole there. That was the linebacker, Jason Peace.
Yeah, and this is certainly a positive for Houston. I mean, they're really getting chewed up on these outside runs, but so far, Vancouver have not been able to translate that to being successful up the middle.
Great comparison there. You saw both running back splits. Brown in the shotgun, moves the receiver from right to left. Houston backs off in coverage, and Brown able to put into tight coverage, and they're going to say that there was a pass interference. That looked pretty close there, Alden. What do you say?
Yeah, this is very, very bang bang. I hope we get a closer look at this because, man, that is going to hurt so bad. I mean, you could argue that there's not a move that's allowed to be made very early on in that play, but Chris Curtis, I believe, is the one who draws that flag there, and I don't, besides kind of making it harder for the receivers to run the route there, I don't necessarily agree with that call.
Yeah, there is a super smart play design by Vancouver, flooding the field like that, creating that confusion. And then Logan Lee's going to finish it off from the 1-yard line, taking advantage of the PI and giving the Vancouver Legion the lead here in the second quarter.
Well, that's really the name of the game for Vancouver, isn't it? Opportunism. There's a lot of negative connotation with that word, but it doesn't always have to be, because Vancouver have been getting their chances in the red zone like they always do. I mean, as we mentioned, the team that is leading the league in terms of trips to the SFL red zone, and they're converting so far 2 for 2 when they're in the red zone thus far.
Yeah, continuing their season averages. The interception, they were down near the 30, but again, Vancouver's offense is showing that they're moving down the field, and Houston's going to have to show that they can keep up here, because I think Vancouver's got something figured out offensively in this ball game. So it's going to totally come down to can Houston maybe get some stops, or can they keep up offensively? We'll see which is true in this ball game. Over and under set in this game for 59.5 points, Alden. So Jack's the good folks over at Jack's Data are predicting some offensive scoring in this one.
And I mean, it hasn't been without merit so far. I mean, really only one punt. I mean, Logan Lee is really the guy that has got to be raising alarm bells and setting off klaxons on the Houston sideline. You got to figure out a way to stop that 1-2 punch that they've been able to set up so far.
And if you're enjoying the game so far, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There's no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of the SFL or SFLM action, and help grow the channel through your support. That play goes out to GP Wells. He's going to get 1 yard there, and that was Josh Farnsey on the tackle.
Yeah, and really, I think this is an opportunity for Houston, to continue to keep up. As you say, really expected to be a high-scoring game, and it's really a confidence booster.
Burr back to throw with the coverage. What a throw! Tiberius Bovine, the veteran, able to somehow grab that one in tight coverage.
Yeah, a very tight coverage. I mean, it's a very almost borderline problematic for Vancouver, but manages to get around the linebacker that's just sort of sitting in the middle of the field there. I mean, that is a fantastic job running that route.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. It's going to be GP Wells out to the 35, brought down by Mark Lopez.
That's really been difficult for both teams, really kind of trying to establish that run up the middle. You kind of wonder if Houston's going to see how well Logan Lee's been able to run on the outside and, start to try to emulate that.
Offensively, the Headhunters are 4th in the SFL in total yards per game with 411. Josh Schlapp getting out to the right side. Rushing yards per game, the Headhunters average 174.2, which is good for 8th. So they definitely like to keep the ball on the ground when they can, but not afraid to throw the ball either, averaging 237 yards a game. That's good for 9th. So Houston definitely has some offensive firepower here on their offense. Twins to the left for Burr, deep drop, and he's going to unleash. Pass is going to be tipped around a couple times and knocked away. I think Farnsey got a hand on it at first, and then ultimately DJ Woods got a second hand on it.
Yeah, I think, and to your point, I think, sometimes we look at the record of these teams and that really doesn't tell the whole story, because, these are both top 10 offenses in the league statistically, and, really, really well coached, really tough players. And I think it just kind of shows the toughness of the league, how good everyone is, that, well, not everyone can be a 13-0 team every year.
That's right. Even with some offensive firepower, it's any given week, you got to come out and you got to beat the opponent in front of you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And that's and I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's
you're good.
that's sort of another point about the playoffs. We talk a lot about playoff scenarios and kind of the chips falling where they will, but you gotta control what you can control, or else you're gonna drive yourself crazy. And what you can control is how well you perform in these games. That's got to be your 100% focus every single week going towards the end of the season.
So far in the first half, Legion appear to be more focused and locked into this game. Lee's going to get a carry right side. Great blocking again. Out to the left sideline, down to the 40. Past the 40, down to the 45, just near midfield. And Logan Lee is definitely heating up, carrying this Legion offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see that it is, again, going towards the outside with these strong blocks. Again, it's the toss play, a really great block at the top of this by Brett Killian, the wide receiver. So it's really, when these blocks are coming, it's all hands on deck. We're seeing Brett Killian go for blocks. We're seeing Chris Curtis being moved over to match up against a defensive to be matched up against a defensive back to throw a block. I mean, it is really all hands on deck when they go for these runs.
You got pulling tackle out there, and it's going to be 5 yards. That was Robert Redford with the carry.
Yeah, and it's really the rhythm that Vancouver have been able to establish. I mean, I think that's what makes this so hard for Houston, when really everything that Vancouver has been doing since the interception has been working so well. I mean, it makes it hard to get back on your front foot.
Great points, and that's Blanco in at quarterback, but
Ooh.
Logan is going to get a carry, and another defender sent to the shadow realm after a vicious stiff arm. He gets pushed out of bounds by Kai Cash, but not before a huge gain for the Legion.
And it also makes your job pretty tough to stop the run game when the running back on the other team seems like they may have gotten lost on their way to a bullpen at the running of the Bulls in Pamplona, because Logan Lee has just been absolutely crushing the Houston defenders.
Brown's going to go under center on this one, changing something at the line of scrimmage. Going to be a dive play, met at the line. Nice stop made by Zed Markov, marked for no gain.
And again, really, when you've got something that's working so well, these toss plays to the outside, you've really got to emphasize on controlling the middle as well, because if you're getting burnt on the outside, you can't get burnt on the inside.
There's a toss play, seal block on the edge, didn't quite get there. Brady Clark did a nice job disrupting that play, just a little too quick for that offensive lineman. Ultimately got a little bit of help from Tom Tanner there at the end of the play as well. That was some good run coverage there by the headhunters.
Yeah, and again, it's recognizing now. I think Houston are starting to see where these blocks are being set and sending the rush where they're not.
Pressure coming around the edge. Brown steps up in the pocket, delivers a strike, and Brett Killian jumps up and takes it down. Brought down at the 6-yard line, and Vancouver back inside the SFL red zone, Alden.
Yeah, and I mean, just when it looked like this drive was about to come to a collapse, looked like Brett Killian was about to be sacked by his own offensive line. He manages to find the exact perfect time to throw a bomb downfield and get it right in Brett Killian's hands. It's a great pass. It's great determination. It's great vision, but an even better catch.
Houston in need of a stop. Desperately need a stop. They crowd the line. Ball goes to Logan Lee. Drags a defender and gets marked down at the 2. Houston now 2nd and goal. Can they keep the Legion out of the end zone before the half here, Alden? It's going to be a big test of their defense.
Yeah, and it's so tough when you've got a team that is absolutely on fire with these outside pitches. I mean, that is like hand-drawn to be an effective end zone play.
Houston, coming into this game, is the 2nd best in the SFL in red zone scoring, allowed at 81.5%, but Vancouver is showing that their odds of being the best in the SFL in red zone scoring is just too much, as Logan Lee now with 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half.
I mean, how do you stop this? How the 1 tackle, 2 tackle, third tackle is stiff-armed. I mean, Logan Lee is just a monster out there. It's not just the speed, it's the fact that he is so darn hard to bring down.
And it's a team group effort too. You notice, there's everybody's pulling, everybody's getting those blocks, and it makes, when your running back can make those explosive plays, and he is making those broken tackles and sending defenders to the shadow realm, it makes you want to block.
Yeah.
Because if you just give him one opportunity to get one-on-one with the defender, he's probably going to, he's going to win that matchup and take it to the house. So it just gives those blockers just a little bit of extra motivation to go out there and make a play. And Logan Lee's been delivering for him here. And why don't we take it to SFL HQ for a game up break? Cam, what do you got? Game update. What do you got for us, Cam?
Thanks, Zach. Minnesota's in Vegas tonight. Vegas, another one of those 4 and 5 teams. Third and long for Eric Price. He finds Doug Britton, who just got out of the way in time. Vegas is up 13-3 on Minnesota. Eric Price, 7 of 8 for 122 yards and a touchdown. Back to you in Vancouver.
Houston going to start out at their own 20. GP Wells gets tossed left side and brought down at the line of scrimmage. That was Kyron Womack there, the 5-season veteran, making a play. 6'7", 330 there on the edge. That's a big boy.
Yeah, and fast too. I mean, we mentioned Achilles Papatonis, but we've also seen Womack get 8 tackles for loss and 5.5 sacks.
And Kyron Womack blown up on that play as Josh Slapp breaks a couple tackles and gets the first down, 11-yard carry on that one.
And, to Josh Slapp's credit, I mean, tough running on these first couple drives, but again, finds a little bit of space and just manages to break these tackles. Eventually is going to be brought down, and that's a great play by Josh Farnsey, but really starting to find where that space is going to open up. It really is kind of a second, it's a third eye as a running back. You kind of got to open that up sometimes.
And that's, Barry Simeon there, 77, left tackle for the Houston Headhunters. He was an all-star participant last season. So that's an interesting matchup there on the outside. Kyron Womack versus Barry Simeon. Maybe one to keep your eye on the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
First down play only goes for a yard, so 2nd and 9 now for the Headhunters. About 30 seconds before the 2-minute warning, we'll see if Houston tries to turn up the tempo at all. Bird drops it down. Slapp's going to break a couple tackles, but only going to get a couple, and the clock will continue to run. We're probably going to see the 2-minute warning here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really been, I think, a more promising drive for Houston this time, if nothing else.
And we have reached the 2-minute warning of this first half. Vancouver with a big lead here at home. Houston with the ball, trying to get down and get some points before the half. Vancouver did receive the ball to start the game, so Houston will get the ball to start the second half. So if they could get some points here, then we might get the good old double dip.
Yeah, absolutely, and that makes your clock management all the more important.
Burr going to take a shot, finds a receiver, and that is Greg Corky getting his first reception of the ball game. Clock still running, but they don't have to be super urgent. They do have 3 timeouts here, Alden.
Well, yeah, exactly, and it's always an interesting kind of puzzle as a coach. How do you use your timeouts? How fast do you go back to the line? You made the comparison, or made the metaphor of moving chess pieces around, and I think these close situations where it's intricate parts of the game, I think you really see it.
DR Sim with the big play gets the ball out to the 30, and Houston quickly into scoring territory. And they've got plenty of time on the clock as well. So all the pressure off of Burr right now. He just needs to protect the football. They've got plenty of time to make something happen here.
Yeah, and we saw, again, it's the route. I mean, DR Sim, an SFL Hall of Famer, one of arguably, if not the greatest receiver in the history of the league. And you see that it's simple things like that done to perfection over and over again that get you there.
And Slapp going to get the carry, break a tackle, and get 5 yards out of that one.
And I like this style of running from Houston. You've got something that's really, really working in a way that could be compared to a degree of ease of a hot butter knife cutting through butter. But you've got Houston that's had to take this very scrappy route of kind of blowing open space in the middle, but they've found a way to succeed at it more reliably.
Burr to throw. Nice catch by Sim. He came back for the ball, and that's important for a receiver. That's how you help your quarterback out. You got to go up and attack the ball, and DR Sim did just that. And another timeout by the Headhunters.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. We credit. There's a lot of really fantastic quarterbacks in the league, but you got to give them their weapons. You got to give them their toys too, and 2 very good receiving cores on either side of the field here.
Nickel defense from the Legion. Burr to throw. Quick route. Bovine out in the flats. And he's only going to get 2 before he's pushed out of bounds. Josh Farnsey was the closest defender in the area.
Yeah, and again, it was Farnsey who made the play previously on this drive, really kind of stepping up, trying to prevent Houston from marching down this field and going for the double dip, as you mentioned.
2nd 8. Ball's marked at the 12-yard line. 3 wide receivers on the field for Houston. GP Wells on the field, out to block. Burke throws cross field. That's both in the end zone. And Houston's got the first part of the double dip as they've got the 6 points.
Yeah, that is so huge for Houston. They have been the only team that has had to punch so far in this game, and this is just a perfectly executed touchdown. Rolls out, buys the space for himself, and again, it's just a route that is run to perfection. Tiberius Bovine, 3 receptions, 3 targets on the day, so he's been a very reliable target for Dave Burr. Speaking about those weapons that quarterbacks have alongside them.
And we've got Sonny J on for the extra point. Closes the gap now. 7 points is the deficit for the Headhunters. But fighting back, showing that they're not out of this game just yet. We're here at the Delta Dome in Vancouver, Canada. The Legion with the lead, 53 seconds left. So the Legion with a little bit of time, they do have 3 timeouts. We'll see if they try to push the ball downfield. I don't think that they will. They've got the lead. They probably go conservative here, Alden, but you never know what could happen here as Brett Killian, the returner, brings the ball out to the 30.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we mentioned earlier in this game that the over-under on this is 59.5, but it's also the spread is less than a touchdown. So this game very well could end up, hitting the over, but also be settled by like 2 points or 3 points. That's a very realistic outcome based on these teams' history and their current standing as well.
Brown with an opportunity from his own 30. A little bit of a conservative set. Only 2 wide receivers on the field. Brings out a base 4-3 defense from the Headhunters. Logan Lee's going to get a toss play left side. Shakes off the defender and gets a 5-yard gain out of it. Clock's going to run, ticking down past 35 now.
Yeah, and Houston not using their timeout. I think they're perfectly happy to get their ball back, get the ball back in their hands. Not going to make too much of a difference in terms of your defense or your offense, rather getting some oxygen back in them and getting to recuperate because it's going to be halftime anyway.
Lee trying to make a nice play, diving, fighting for the yards, but going to get stopped short. And good effort from the Headhunters. I think that's going to take us into the half here, Alden.
And this is the argument, I guess, for using your timeout, is that you get more looks at this play, the system that they're using to run the ball, and thus more opportunities to adjust.
Quick snap. Logan Lee left side breaks a tackle, and Houston was aware to it. They weren't falling asleep. Brady Clark makes the tackle to end the half. So first half thoughts here, Alden. It's been a pretty good game. What are your key takeaways so far in this one?
Well, I compared Logan Lee to a bull at the running of Pamplona earlier in this game, and now I'm going to compare him to another type of livestock. I'm going to say he's the workhorse for Vancouver. 23 touches, 145 yards, his longest 29, and it has felt so frustrating if you're on this Houston defense to try to stop him. I mean, you can't take anything away from Dave Burr, GP Wells, Josh Slapp, and the rest of this Houston offense, and really you can't take anything away from Houston doing their best on defense to contain Vancouver. Of course, that very big interception to start the game, and is slowly but surely starting to adjust to Logan Lee, but man, this has really been very close, and it's going to be very close all the way up to the finish line, I'd suspect.
First half, only 7 passing attempts for the Vancouver Legion. Definitely, I can definitely say that shocks me. But when you look at the yards on the receptions by the wide receivers, yards per attempt 13.1 for Vancouver. So they're stretching the field, but they're not needing to throw the ball. Again, I think what they're doing is
250 yards.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're letting the defense come up into the box, try to stop Logan Lee, and they're just throwing only when they have to, only when the defense is totally down in the box, and they just utilize these one-on-one matchups that they're getting because their running game's working really well for them. It's been really nice to watch. Houston's been done really has done a really good job answering though on a lot of that. You know, the turnover was really nice for them, and so we're going to get started here in the second half, Alden, as the Legion's home field, the Delta Dome, is hosted by Delta Flare, a startup company building video games and economic solutions for blockchain compatibility. Grab your knots and get ready for their premier title, Valor Rising: Quest for the Seven. Visit their website at deltaflare.gg for more details. Dave Burr going to go under center at his own 26, twins to the top of the screen, left side of the field. Looks like fullbacks lined up at the bottom of the screen at tight end. Mike St. Green's going to be the receiver running backwards, trying to make something happen on that one. He's going to lose 5 yards, nowhere to go on that play.
Yeah, not quite what, man, and it was the momentum that kind of carried him backwards. He was like, well, I got carried back about a yard, and he's like, well, I can't just run into the two defensive backs that are rushing me down, trying to get all the way around the back end, but ultimately not quite able to get much of anywhere.
Burr looking left side. As a receiver, somehow squeezes that one in there. And a nice play to Greg Corky. Sets up Houston for a 3rd and 2.
Well, you saw one of the most unfortunate places to receive a ball, maybe that you'll see all week. And you see again here this little comeback route that is the comeback part happens in the middle of double coverage, and just somehow, some way, Dave Burr placing the ball into the hands of Greg Corky.
Now a 3rd and 2. DR Sim bunched in tight, moving across the field now. Split out wide to the right. Pause play, slap. Met in the backfield, and he's going to get stopped for no gain. DJ Woods and Josh Farnsey there to make the play.
Oh, man, yeah, and it's a really great stop. And, man, I'm always a proponent of being aggressive. I think you can go for this. I mean, 4th and 1... but it's so risky with how successful Vancouver have been in the red zone.
Yeah, maybe they just don't feel like that's the right field position to try and convert there. Fumbles on the turn. Houston's got the ball.
Well, you've heard of a hand punt. How about a foot pass? Because this is basically the same thing for Houston, and it looks like that angle confirms. I'm not sure if we're going to see a red flag yet. I don't think so, but that is the equivalent of Houston holding on to the ball and hitting a 50-yard, 60-yard bomb. They're darn near in the red zone after that.
It was 28 or 82 that caused the fumble. If it was 28, that's Jalen Wells. And then who got on the fumble was Vernon Brothers. So now Houston with great field position, and they're gonna start with a handoff to Slap. Slap's gonna break a tackle and get brought down at the 19.
Man, and I just cannot get over what we just saw. I mean, you know, you see people passing with their feet in rugby, not so much in our country's brand of football.
Burr's going to go under center. Split backfield. Going to be a bit of a stretch play, but Slap going to get caught up in the backfield, running into the back of his offensive lineman and brought down for no gain. That was Marquise Reed on the tackle.
Yeah, again, just trying to follow the block, but just really did not quite open in time.
Burr again, another little stretch play. This time Slap going to get a couple more. Now 3rd and 6.
Yeah, and again, that really kind of scrappy run style that we saw in the later half of the first half by Houston, really kind of contrasting to Vancouver's trench warfare style. And you know, with Houston, it's more like let's send a missile up the middle and see what happens.
Burr's 13th passing attempt is complete, and into the end zone goes DR Sim, and closes the gap for Houston, and the fans here at Delta Dome not happy with that play as the SFL legend gets into the end zone and closes the gap to 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, DR Sim, very rightfully an SFL Hall of Famer, holds multiple records. And again, like we said, it is not hard to become an SFL Hall of Famer. You just gotta do little things right over and over and over again. And again, we see DR Sim running this route to perfection, opening things up for his quarterback to place that ball, and just rides the momentum into the end zone.
Sonny J's third extra point up and good. Now tie ball game. And man, this has been a great one here. Alden, great Friday night football action for us in this one. And week 12 continues tomorrow with monster showdowns between San Diego and Los Angeles and Florida and DC, plus Sunday's must-win tussle in the Central between Sioux Falls and Tulsa. For the complete week 12 slate, head over to simulationfl.net to plan your weekend. Returner this time, Brett Killian, after the fumble, noticeably not on the field. And we've got a new returner out there for the Legion as one gets out to just past the 20. That's Timothy Mossam King on the return.
Yeah, I mean, that is it. You're so scared after you fumble a kickoff. You're like begging your coach to don't put me in that next one, coach. I don't want to do that again. But they do hold on to it this time. Very a much better start to this drive already.
Under center, Brown pitches out. Logan Lee met in the backfield. They're going to mark him back at the line of scrimmage. KT Slayer there on the tackle.
Yeah, and it almost looked like he got a jump on the snap. I mean, within milliseconds as soon as it was out. And again, that's what you got to do when Logan Lee is getting to the outside. There's a very tiny window that you can get through as a defensive end, and you got to blow that up in the backfield ASAP.
Pressure coming, picked up well by the Legion. They've done a good job picking up the blitz all night, giving Brown plenty of time to throw. And Chris Curtis is rewarded with the reception there and a first down.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. You know, you've had all hands on deck for these running blocks, but again, it really opens up some space to run these routes. You know, that little in route there really is set up by the block, allowing him to stand in the pocket and let that develop.
Toss play, Lee, good blocking again. Doesn't get there, stiff arms the defender into the ground, down near the 45-yard line. And I mean, Logan Lee is just cooking here in this ball game, asserting his dominance.
I mean, I was joking about putting his man on the Heisman earlier, but he might actually be trying, okay, I know the photographers are on me. Can I actually get the Heisman pose? You know, and he's had enough poses for the photographer that I bet at least one has got the exact Heisman angle.
Having an absolute ball game here at the Delta Dome. Sawyer's starting to get involved in the stiff arm game as the fullback gives the linebacker a little bit of a physical punishment. Only a 1 yard gain on the reception.
I mean, when you're hot, you're hot. I mean, this has really been just a wrecking ball offense that Vancouver has put on.
High formation twins for the Legion. Brown changing something, really, yeah. Wants Curtis to go across the field now. It looks like a zone coverage defense for the Headhunters. Brown, three-step drop, quickly gets it over to Lee, and Lee gets pushed out of bounds. Caught Cash there quickly in that coverage.
And you gotta love the confidence by Lee, even though this is a tackle that's about to push him out of bounds. He's just preemptively putting his arm out there. He's like, well, people are gonna fly into this, and I'm gonna push them away, and that's gonna set up the run. That's basically how you're feeling if you're Logan Lee.
Brown quickly scrambles out to his right on Lee's Brett Killian, and that'll make up for the fumble, getting your team down into the red zone You're the best team in the league, and I mean they are moving the ball again down the field. Alden, Houston responded, but they seem completely unfazed. They're just right back to business.
Yeah, and again, it's just a fantastic job running these routes, and they're being allowed to develop because of the blocks that really good route being run, and just the ball placed perfectly at precisely the right time.
That's Mossam King going in motion. Brown assessing the defense, back to throw over the middle. Pass is going to be caught and hauled in by that's the tight end Stephen McMichaels, and his second reception of the ball game.
And it really feels like Vancouver has not had to pass much, so they've chosen not to. And again, we're seeing here just a very short little, a very short little slant route just sets that up. And sometimes when you've got all these different routes that are being run in the same play, one of them's gonna overwhelm the defense and find some space.
Three-step drop. Brown, time to throw back to the end zone. Pass is going to be tipped away from Chris Curtis. Covered by Kai Cash in the end zone. Nice throw. They had a chance at it, 50-50 ball, but good coverage there by the Headhunters.
Yeah, absolutely. Very tight defensive coverage, making it almost impossible to move around in the end zone there.
Vancouver with an opportunity to take the lead in this game. Brown's going to toss it over to Logan Lee. Lee's going to head for the sideline. Oh, a big shot at the end of that play. Brady Clark says, not today. I'll give you 7 yards, but nothing more.
Yeah, and Logan Lee, again, man, just look at this. Just it's so brutal, these stiff arms. It's really is slowly turning into like the part of a wrestling match where the good guy gets the tag and just starts knocking people over. That's really what it's felt like every time Logan Lee goes to the outside.
Houston with the chance to get the Legion off the field. Do they get the stop? They do. They do. Jason Peace gets a huge stop for the Headhunters defense. And I think Vancouver might settle for 3, but not before we get a challenge flag on the field here, Alden.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, definitely worth a challenge here. I think that's so close that it's worth going for it on 4th and inches if this doesn't get overturned.
So let's take a look at our retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid, and get your SFL console at goretroid.com. So it's a review, Alden. What you think?
His feet are certainly over the line. I don't know if we can say that the ball's over the line at any point.
Down on the field, the referee is going to say that this play stands, so Vancouver is going to lose a timeout on that. 4th down still, so now with the decision to make, do you trot out the offense or do you bring out the special teams unit?
I think, look, chance to win has 99 field goals on the career. This would be for the 100th. I think you go for it. They're gonna trot out chance to win. Not only taking the guaranteed points, but also, of course, chance to win would get the 100th career on the field goal if this is good.
18 yards up and good. Congratulations, chance to win 100 career field goals and a huge milestone in your career. Many more to come for him, and a 3-point lead now for the Legion.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to take any points that you can get in a close game like this, or else, you really, a game like this, you don't want to feel like you left a single thing out there on the field. You want to feel like you gave it all, and Vancouver not content to risk not getting anything there.
Greg Corky, the returner, gets this one out to the 34-yard line, and now available free to download. You can play the SFL video game on the go on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, an emulator for 4K 23. In the palm of your hand, you can order now. You can order your Retroid today at goretroid.com. Search SFL and download our mod at simulationfl.net/4K23. Retroid, the official console of the SFL. 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. A 3-point lead for the Legion. Houston with the ball under center is Dave Burr, going to be handing off to Josh Slapp, who's going to lose a couple of yards, and that's Josh Farnsey making the play in the backfield.
Yeah, man, tough getting a single inch of space up the middle there.
Three wide receivers on the field for the Headhunters. Burr quickly throws down the left side, looking for DR Sim, but can't quite connect. Two defenders in the area.
Yeah, it's really the coverage all over there.
Burr's been really clean in this ball game, efficient, and keeping the ball in the hands of his offense. No turnovers compared to the Vancouver one. So, Houston just needs to keep finding ways to get down the field. They just held Vancouver to 3 points. If they can get in the end zone here, they can have Vancouver back on their heels in this game. Take the control back. Burr throws over the middle. Pass is going to be caught. That's Mike St. Green moving the chains and getting back into the ball game.
Yeah, and again, it's just, we talk about how important it is, no matter how good of a passer you are, to set up that pocket with the blocks. And again, it's the route just ever so slightly separated from the coverage, and a fantastic job by Burr to find the space.
At midfield, Josh Slapp going to get the carry, and he's going to drag a defender forward, call it an 8-yard gain.
And that was really good by Josh Slapp. Just immediately found the space and does not hesitate to commit. Coming into this game, only needed 30 yards to cross that 1,000-yard mark on the career. Has 52 now, so a huge milestone on his rookie season now.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Over 1,000 yards rushing on the season. Going to end up with most likely going to end up with more than 10 rushing touchdowns. He's already there. So, Slapp has been a valuable asset here for this Headhunters offense, and I bet he's going to be a key part of their franchise moving forward as Slapp gets the first down there.
And you've got GP Wells, who is one of the other best running backs in the league. So, it really can be scary when you've got two of the best of anything in a certain position, and especially a position that, as of right now, has such a high level of impact in the SFL as a running back does.
Wells gets the carry. He's able to get 4 yards. Both of these running backs coming into the ball game, Alden, averaging over 5.5 yards per carry. Both actually tied at 5.7 yards per carry. That's good for 13th in the league. So two very, very dynamic running backs. You give them the ball, and they're going to get something very positive for your offense. Split backfield. Vancouver not really crowding the box here when Houston's obviously trying to run the ball, and Slapp is able to get. They're going to mark him short. Good eye there, Alden. 3rd and inches.
Yeah, I would throw the challenge flag here. I mean, because of course, you got to remember these lines are imaginary, but this is about 3rd and a potato chip to go.
And we'll see if they can get it. They do, that's Wells getting involved in the punishment out there. He lowers his shoulder and moves the chains for the Headhunters.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's been kind of that's really been kind of the MO of the day for these running backs, is find the space and just run over the poor SOB that's lined up in front of you.
That's Wells' 14th carry of the season, and he's another running back for this team. He's averaging over 5.5 yards per carry. So it's good to see the fullback getting involved, paying dividends. Burns off his back foot. Oh my goodness, how was that complete? Josh Slapp made a diving play, and that was unbelievable there, Alden.
This is a fantastic route, a fantastic pass, and a fantastic catch. You might even say it's the SFL Good Hands catch of the game.
I might say that, Alden. Why don't I go ahead and get into that? That is the Nice Hands catch of the game, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23. And we have also reached the 4th quarter. Get your 4s up in the chat, Simulationfl YouTube. Love to see everybody here with us tonight. Got a great ball game here at the Delta Dome. Vancouver holding on to a 3-point lead, but Houston knocking on the door at the 7-yard line. Dave Burr going to go under center, split backfield. Base 4-3 defense from the Legion. Josh Slack with the carry, and he's into the end zone. Houston takes the lead in the ball game.
Man, and this has really been something of a game to remember for Josh Slapp. As we said, got past 1,000 yards and gets a very important touchdown run here. We're going to see again here, just following his blocks, just space up the middle and a little wider than that. You know, you saw Jalen Wells going up for the block there in the end zone. Really no one in his way.
And that's a huge moment for Houston. If their defense can continue to play how they've been playing as of late in the second half, they're going to find themselves in a good position. If they can hold Vancouver to 3 points or get the ball back on a turnover or a 3 and out, Houston can take full control of this ball game.
Yeah, and more importantly than that, I mean, not only do you hold on to the lead, but then you get the ball back in your hands with maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes run off the clock, and then you can kind of take control of the clock and be like, okay, well, we're gonna do our best to get down the field, but we're gonna take our sweet time getting there.
Mossam King brings the ball out to the Vancouver 31. That's where Vancouver's going to take over to start this drive. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Start of the fourth quarter. Christian Brown's going to go under center. Twins to the right. Quick drop, quick throw. Passes away, almost intercepted. And that was the linebacker in there making a play. Get a number on that one. 45 is Garrett Evans, the 3-year linebacker. Second season here in Houston.
Yeah, and that is a very scary place to potentially give up the ball. I mean, not only do you not want to give up the ball at all, I mean, you know, effectively inside your own red zone. I mean, you know, darn near.
Handoff's going to go up the middle. Good push up front by the Headhunters. And only a couple yards on that one. Tackle made by Alex Perez.
And you got to give so much credit to Logan Lee for trying to find the space, trying to follow his block, but just not really opening up for him.
So now 3rd and long. Vancouver's going to have to throw in this obvious passing situation. In this ball game tonight, Vancouver 5 of 7 on 3rd down. They're going to overload the right side, bringing a receiver in motion. Houston's got safety lined up at middle linebacker again. They send him on a blitz. Coverage on the outside, and that's Brett Killian manhandling, taking advantage of the mismatch. One-on-one coverage with Kai Cash on the outside, and Christian Brown knows just what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said it going into this game that this is really the bread and butter. It is the modus operandi of the Vancouver offense. And again, it's just a clever little out route that just goes past and away from the coverage.
Christian Brown has had a pretty nice game, other than the one blemish being the interception. But all eyes in this game have been on number 21. Logan Lee is just absolutely crushing it out there, getting an 8-yard gain there on 1st down.
Yeah, and this is something that's a little scary to see. I mean, you've got all of the pieces that has made Vancouver so successful over these past few seasons. They're starting to come online one by one. The Christian Brown to Brett Killian, connection. Always scary when that's reliable. And now, of course, Logan Lee absolutely tearing through this defense. I mean, that is not something that you want to see happening at the same time.
Blanco in at quarterback, pitches it out to Lee, and Lee able to fight his way forward. Gets out to about the 39-yard line. Brady Clark having a nice little day, making another tackle.
Yeah, and again, it's Logan Lee getting to the outside and And you really don't. It's bad enough if he just bowls you over and picks up a few yards, but he's picking up 3, 4 yards and then bowling over the defenders.
Pressure coming and in the face as Christian Brown was trying to make a throw. Intended target was Brett Killian, but I think the pressure in Brown coming around Christian Brown led to a little bit of a bad throw in the incompletion.
Yeah, a little bit of bump coverage there that you don't usually see on those in routes there, but it worked to perfection. It got him off balance.
Brown, quick drop. Pressure coming in, but his pocket holds very nicely, unleashes, and Brett Killian gets walloped by Brady Clark and can't hold on to that pass. It was a nice throw by Brown. I put that one on Brett Killian. A good receiver like him has to make a play like that, but Brady Clark just made a better play, timed it perfectly to knock the ball loose.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of nerves. I mean, we saw that great out route earlier in the drive that picked up big yardage, and man, it's so scary. 3rd and long. This is a situation Vancouver has not had to face very often this game.
Al Ingram the third is that number 20 there, lined up at a linebacker. Oh, it's an all blitz. Brown finds an open receiver. Chris Curtis wide open. He's going to waltz into the end zone. Busted play for the Headhunters. Leads to an easy touchdown for the Legion, but we do have a penalty flag on the field, Alden.
Yeah, and
roughing the passer.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to make a difference. I would imagine they decline it, and yeah, they're going to take the touchdown, and we're going to see again here this fantastic little pitch and catch here that was just to Chris Curtis on the outside, and man, the blitz was sent trying to stop the run, and again, we talk about how Vancouver love to pounce on these mismatches like a vulture on carry on. And again, that's exactly what we see. Chris Curtis sees that the blitz is coming, and he's like, okay, well, I guess I'm on a go route then. And, pocket holds up, and Christian Brown is able to make a fantastic connection that gets Vancouver back in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, a huge play and a coaching error. And you saw head coach Damon Simeon there on the sideline just absolutely fuming on that play. I think there was a miscommunication there somewhere between the defensive coordinator and the mic on the field, and they definitely were. They looked confused, and it was it was easy money there for Vancouver. And just like that, they're back on top here at the Delta Dome. They've got their home they got the home crowd on their side, and now your team with the clock winding down, you have to find a way to get out here and score. So Dave Burr going to take over from the Headhunters 20-yard line. Going to bring Mike St. Green in motion across the field. And they've overloaded the left side. They've got Tiberius Bovine up at the top of the screen at tight end. Burr, quick drop, finds Bovine for a first down and a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, and it was just a little tiny in route, the tiniest break on this in route, and again, just over and away from the coverage. That is really how these receivers have been running these in routes is, you got double coverage that's been thrown at you. Well, okay, I'm just going to run past them.
Now Burr going to hand off, gives it to Slap. Slap's going to break a tackle and stops. Oh, they're going to give him the first down. Generous spot there on the field.
You know what? Let's be charitable and say they're making up for a missed call earlier.
Sometimes that's just the ball don't lie, right?
Exactly.
3 wide receivers on the field. I formation look. Brings a nickel defense from the Legion. Blitz coming. Fonzie in the back immediately. Another tackle for loss. GP Wells, the running back there, to get brought down behind the line.
Yeah, and a great read, a great job, a great time to send all the pressure.
Another Twins look, could be a zone coverage defense for the Legion. Burr, a short drop. Now he's trying to buy some more time. Finds a receiver crossing across the middle, and that is Josh Slap. They're using Slap a lot as a receiver, and he's coming up nicely for them in these mismatches.
Yeah, and 131 yards receiving on the season, so it's not something that he is not what he's known for, but it's certainly something that he has in his back pocket, a little sidearm to pull out, if you will.
Burr going to drop back to throw one more time, looking over the middle again, and this time it's Mike St. Green getting a first down for Houston and moving the chains one more time for the Headhunters. 3 straight first downs now for Houston.
Yeah, and that's the thing, as much as we saw Vancouver really kind of clicking, oh man, and that is, I think that's missed coverage there. You gotta bump that, because it's the slant route there is just devastating, and it continues the rhythm for Houston.
Burr with the hot hand, looking out in the flats. GP Wells, and Wells is going to get a yard. Met immediately there by cornerback Emmanuel Blackman.
Yeah, and I think really quietly, Dave Burr has been having a fantastic game. 2 touchdowns, coming up on 200 yards. A quarterback rating was in the 140s, now in the high 130s. I mean, he's really been leading this offense successfully so far in this game.
Wells going to get a carry. Trying to get through the mess, and only a couple of yards on that one. Marquise Reed in there to make the stop.
Yeah, man. And now, again, it gets down to kind of a jigsaw puzzle of clock management. How much time do you want to take off the clock, and how confident are you that you can convert here?
3rd and 7 now for Houston. Houston, 5 of 8 on 3rd downs to this point. We'll see how they do. Burr's going to make the spin move, but he's going to be short. He has to slide short of the first down marker. Had nothing else downfield. You love the bravery from Burr, but if you're going to tuck it run, you got to go full John Elway and dive and try to get the first down. Don't slide short.
Yeah,
but,
and the little pirouette of a 360 of a spin move at the start of that play to try to gather momentum instead of just turning on the jets and trying to go downfield. That was certainly different.
A 36-yarder for Sonny J, moving right to left, goes through the upright, ties the ball game for the Headhunters. So a good drive there. Stalled out a little bit short, but you tied the ball game. You've given yourself a fighting chance. 4-17. Your defense has been playing pretty good, but you can't have a drive like you did on the last one, Alden. Houston's got to find a way to get a stop if they want to have time to put points on the board. They can't let Vancouver go on any kind of really long, prolonged drive. They have to find a way to get them off the field early so that they have time to score. Some King down this one in the end zone. Vancouver going to start throwing 20. Go ahead, Alden.
No, well, I was just about to agree with you. The fact that there's less than 5 minutes left in this game. If Vancouver score and take their sweet time, and the nightmare scenario if you're Houston is you got less than 2 minutes and and 3 timeouts, and that's pretty. It feels like your season on the line at that point.
Logan Lee out to the right side, breaks 2 tackles, finds his way to the sideline, stays in bounds, and that's KT Slayer there to drag down Lee from behind, but not before he can pick up about 17.
Yeah, and Vancouver, because this game is tied, chance to win, already has that 100th career field goal. They quite literally have a chance to win if they can manage this clock successfully, milk 4 minutes off the clock here, take away 3 timeouts from Houston, and take the lead with a field goal with less than a minute left in the game. I mean, that would put all the pressure in the world on Houston.
Brown's going to look down the field. A jumping Chris Curtis not able to come up with that one. Good coverage, tight coverage by the Headhunters. And these games, Alden, as we're getting, we're winding down to this season, and these games are all important. And these the playoff implications in these games are so huge. And a win here for Vancouver may not give them a huge bump in strength of victory, but it does a lot for their playoff seeding. It gets them in the hunt, and then they still got an opportunity in a couple weeks to take on Seattle. And if they can get an upset there, that really bumps up their strength of victory. So as long as they can take care of business, Vancouver has a way in to the playoffs if they work out correctly.
Absolutely. It's as we say, there's a little bit of luck involved in some of these playoff scenarios, but the God's honest truth is that you got to focus on what you can control and not worry so much about everything else.
3rd and 4 for Brown, and he takes a deep shot, really aggressive, but he finds Chris Curtis in between the safeties down the field for a first down, gets him into plus territory.
And that's the thing. Both of these teams are looking to win out. As you say, much stronger opportunity for Vancouver to increase their strength of victory, with Seattle on the schedule, but also not to shake a stick at Portland. They're treading water, trying to stay above 500, but adding 5 wins to your strength of victory does help your math quite a bit.
Lee gets a carry. He doesn't need an explosive play. He just needs to chew up some clock. Does a good job slowing down the pace, getting 6 yards there on first down. Brady Clark, another tackle in this ball game. That looks like 10 solo tackles, 2 assisted. Also with the pass deflection in this ball game, really playing very, very well for a stout Houston defense.
Yeah, and Vancouver are certainly in no hurry to get down the field. They like this field goal scenario to try to take it. Yeah, they're taking it very slow behind the line here.
That's tight end Stephen McMichael's going into motion, now lined up as a slot wide receiver. That is a first down carry for Robert Redford getting involved. His 3rd carry of the ball game.
Yeah, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Houston really were hoping to use this as a 4th timeout, but as it stands, they are really playing for their season on the line, and this is lining up to be one of the most exciting finishes I think you're going to see all season long.
The conclusion of this matchup next here at the Delta Dome. We've got 2 minutes remaining, Alden, and like you said, a great game. It's probably a great way to start off the weekend, Friday night matchup. And I think if all the rest of the games this week are like this one, we're in for a great weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams really balling out in this one. Logan Lee out to the right side. Oh, great blocking. Room to run. Throws the stiff arm. Oh, he stepped out of bounds, Alden. He stepped out.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it's pretty clear and obvious error to us, but oh man, he stops like 3 or 4 yards, and it's only the booth that can review it. We're within the 2-minute warning, so coaches cannot challenge, even though both coaches, I think, for integrity reasons, you would hope that they will. And and this has been spotted as a 1st and goal.
So 3 opportunities for the Legion, and Houston could use a stop badly, but I would want them to get in the first try, and they do. Logan Lee, 4 touchdowns in the ball game, gives the Legion the lead back, and the Houston Headhunters not much time to respond. Just going to be about a minute 50 seconds, and Houston's got 3 timeouts here, Alden, but Vancouver, with that drive, might have sealed this game and just giving themselves a chance to get into the playoffs. I know that this is a team that has had their ups and downs this season, but this could be a win that helps them get that playoff push if their defense can come out here and get a stop now. And same thing for Houston. I mean, the pressure is on these teams right now. I mean, Houston. I mean, you can feel the pressure in the atmosphere. Is if Houston can't respond here with only a minute 53, I mean, their season is all but over here, Alden. So I mean, this is crunch time for both of these teams right now.
Yeah, I mean, and Houston, to their credit, to their credit to their bravery, are one of only a small handful of teams to try at least one 2-point conversion. So let's say they get that touchdown and they're not content to take it to extra time. I mean, again, it really feels like you're playing with your season on the line, and doing something bold like going for a 2-point conversion feels like you're kind of rising to the occasion.
Dave Burr, 12th in the SFL in passing yards coming into this game. 13 passing touchdowns, which is 10th. Can he be the hero for the Headhunters? Throws it down the field into coverage. That was Bovine. And good secondary coverage from the Legion. Able to knock that one away. 2nd and 10 now.
Yeah, and really, I think it does help Vancouver's defense to know that, well, Houston's going to start incorporating these big vertical routes, really trying to march down the field and chew up as much yardage as they possibly can.
Slap the receiver, or the wide receiver lined up as a receiver, going in motion. DR Sim now there at the bottom of the screen all alone. Oh no, it's a fumble! That is a fumble! Oh, man. GP Wells luckily jumps on that. That could have been disastrous for Houston. I mean, they've already overcome a couple of mistakes in this game to kind of keep it close, and that they just avoided a huge one there. They are fortunate that they have the ball right now.
Yeah, a thrown fumble. You don't see many of those, but yeah, I guess that was technically a lateral, because it did not move past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but it was not a forward pass. It was at least down the line or backwards, and that's a fumble. So, but Dave Burr now empty set, throws left side, passes caught. St. Green spins in bounds and up to the 45-yard line, and now Houston's going to take a timeout.
Yeah, and that is much better from Houston, going from rugby passes to now moving the correct direction that they need to.
Okay, so the clock is stopped. Quarterback Dave Burr has a chance to recoup himself and get the offense focused for what they need to do now. Single back look, 4 wide receivers on the field. It's a dime defense look for the Legion. Burr drops back, throws, passes DR Sim. Oh my. You do not expect to see that. That is very, very rare. A wide open DR Sim, ball off his fingertips and incomplete.
I mean, off of his outstretched how many times have we seen DR Sim go up on passes even more difficult than that into double coverage in the middle of the field, and man, just wide open? You do not see him do that very often at all.
Blitz coming. Berg gets the ball in his hands. Oh, almost intercepted. Gotta be careful. These Legion defensive back are keying off on the pass. Emmanuel Blackman able to knock that one away. First season here with Vancouver. 6 seasons in the SFL. One-time All-Star, Emmanuel Blackman, 6'3", 200 pounds there on the outside.
And Vancouver sending all kinds of pressure in the secondary. I mean, this is 4-down territory with your season on the line. That's really all there is to it.
Bovine's going to go in motion across the field. That's Slap, Bovine, and Mike St. Green on the bottom of the screen. Pressure coming, picked up nicely by Houston. Burr throws, but incomplete, just off target. Intended for Tiberius Bovine.
Yeah, really only slightly overthrown. And again, this is 4-down territory. If you punt here, you're basically conceding.
Love the gumption here from the Headhunters. Their season is on the line, and they're going to go down swinging. Josh Slap going to go in motion across the field. Man coverage from the Legion. We'll see who can get open here. Pressure coming. Burr quickly throws. Of DR Sim. What a play made by the Legion. That's Will Stern coming up big for the Legion and getting the Headhunters off the field.
Yeah, and it's the bump coverage there. It's that very, very slight bump that is set up by the cornerback Will Stern for Vancouver, and that is not quite the end of this game, but it is going to be very close to it.
Houston with 2 timeouts, so Vancouver definitely going to need to get some positive yards. It's very likely they're going to need to get a first down to finish this game. Logan Lee gets 2 yards there on first.
Yeah, still Houston, 2 timeouts by Houston, so they could get the ball back with not a lot of time on the clock, and they would have to spike the ball, if they're not able to get the sideline, but they could get the ball back here and have a chance.
Vancouver committing to a run here. They want to get that clock moving again. Toss play, Lee, right side, lowers his shoulder, and there's the first down, and pushed out, stops the clock. Good job by Houston to push Lee out of bounds, stop the clock, maybe hoping that maybe they can force a fumble, giving themselves a chance to not let the clock just tick out on them.
Yeah, and we don't know, but if that is in fact the last play of this game as a true competition, how appropriate is it that it is Logan Lee going to the outside, picking up a few yards, running over a white shirt defender, and just continuing to run? Because that has been so typical of the Vancouver offense today, and so typical of Logan Lee's performance today. He has really been the workhorse, the bell cow, whatever farming related metaphors you want to, or farming related accolades you want to put on him. I think they certainly apply today.
Yeah, and it's been an absolute. This has been a wonderful game. This has been an absolute. This is SFL football. Alden. I mean, this is two teams fighting.
Hmm.
They're fighting for their lives, right? And it was a great show, a great effort. It boiled down to coaching. Both
Yeah,
teams executed. They played well, right? But there was a
yeah.
couple of coaching mishaps, I think, in this game, and that ultimately was the difference in this one. And I think that the players can go into the locker room knowing that they did the best that they could with this one. It was just a couple of things that weren't quite in their control in this one, and
Yeah.
it burned them, and that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah,
And
and
it was a great game nonetheless. Sorry, Alden.
no, no, and I think, you know, really, it's kind of magnified, right, by the fact that this is a game that both teams feel is a must win. Houston isn't going to have many more chances to improve their strength of victory. Vancouver, on the other hand, have two really good opportunities to improve their strength of victory. So, Jack's data got it right on the money. The over hit, and it was settled by only a touchdown. Two very close teams, two very evenly matched teams, and though it went the way of Vancouver, they pick up the fifth win. Again, it is the home side picking up the win in this series, but it could have truly gone either way. And there's a series of very small moments that ended up being the ultimate factor here.
So, of the tiebreakers we broke tonight, both of these teams came in with 97 franchise wins. That moves, with the win tonight, that moves Vancouver to 97. Both teams came into this game 4-5. Vancouver now 5-5. The series was tied at 4-4. Vancouver now leads that series at 5-4. Anything stand out to you often stats-wise here as we look through the team stats? Alden, anything stand out to you there?
I mean, again, I've sung Logan Lee's praises plenty this game, and I'll do it again. 250 yards, a hat trick of touchdowns, but certainly don't sleep on Christian Brown. As I said, one of the highest in terms of completion and completion percentage. 200 yards on 70% completion, a quarterback rating of 116. Gave up that interception very early on in this game, but managed to throw two touchdowns to make up for it, and just a very dynamic Vancouver performance. I think this is a team that you can't sleep on. You've got a great running back, you got a great quarterback, you got a great wide receiver core. I think they could just sneak in there and do some damage in the postseason.
And that's going to do it for us here in the booth. It's been a great game here at Delta Dome in Vancouver, Canada. In the booth, I've been Stephen Hacker with Alden Bleeker tonight. Stats tonight was DJ Woods and Mel Davis. Back at SFL HQ, we had producer and commissioner Cameron Irvine. I want to thank you all for joining us here tonight. We will see you tomorrow for the second block of SFL action. Hope you all have a good one.